day everyone. I am Walenjoy Imakari, currently taking up Bachelor of Elementary Education at Negros Oriental State University, Shatun Campus. So for today's topic that I'm going to discuss is all about the evolutionary leadership theory under the Unit 5, the teacher as an organizational leader. Our learning objectives are at the end of this topic, you are able to discuss the evolutionary leadership theory and 7 competencies to act as a foundational framework for developing evolutionary leaders. S. Demonstrate the 7 competencies to act as a foundational framework for developing evolutionary leaders through role play and develop a value of being an evolutionary leader. What is leader? A leader is someone who is able to exert social influence on others to achieve a mutual goal. Leaders get others to cooperate in the pursuit of a common objective. A follower is one who coordinates his or her actions with others, or who relinquishes individual autonomy for someone or something, example, cause or idea. And development in the leadership literature is an intriguing analysis of the roots of leadership. Evolutionary Leadership Theory, or ELT, by Van Vogt and Ahua of 2011. The basic premise of this descriptive theory is that leadership and followership emerge during the course of human evolution. Leadership and followership are psychological adaptations that have been sculpted into our brain. They are instinctive and universal and have become the natural order of things. We are programmed to live in groups, to be led, and to be obedient most of the time. ELT, or Evolutionary Leadership Theory, also postulates the particular traits associated with initiative taking and intelligence are largely inherited and propel people to power positions. Leadership has 3 important functions. It bands group, it helps the group learn new things, and it teaches others how to lead. ELT emphasizes followers as a vital component of leadership. Increasingly, leaders need to learn how to shift their pattern of leadership as they interact with followers up the ladder of commitment, from subordinates to supporters to loyalists to apprentices to disciples. Leaders need to be a source of inspiration for a disciples or a followers, a teacher for apprentices, a defender for loyalists, and figurehead for supporters, and a provider for subordinates. Leadership is a capacity to mobilize oneself and others to consciously and effectively redesign worldviews, cultures, and institutions for a more just, sustainable, and flourishing world. And now, let's discuss the 7 competencies to act as a foundational framework for developing evolutionary leaders. Personal evolution. It is the competency supports leaders in developing a complexity of consciousness and a worldview through becoming a different kind of observer of the world. Developing personal evolution competencies, it requires continuous efforts towards understanding our human nature and consciously evolving our mindset to embrace the complexity of the world and transcend limiting beliefs and assumptions that undermine our ability to build a more just, sustainable, and flourishing world. And now, let's discuss the 7 competencies to act as a foundational framework for developing evolutionary leaders. Personal evolution It is the competency supports leaders in developing a complexity of consciousness and a worldview through becoming a different kind of observer of the world. Developing personal evolution competencies, it requires continuous efforts towards understanding our human nature and consciously evolving our mindset to embrace the complexity of the world and transcend limiting beliefs and assumptions that undermine our ability to build a more just, sustainable, and flourishing world. Second, competencies, emotions, and generative language. Evolutionary leaders use the power of emotions and language to bring forth new realities. This competency invites leaders to master their emotions in a way that sets the foundation for healthy relationships, for caring, for seeing the other as legitimate other, and for setting the context for generative dialogue. Evolutionary leaders use this powerful generative language to facilitate the emergence of new historical narratives, of a new story of life and human beings that promotes meaning, purpose, solidarity among people, and harmony with our natural world. Third, systems thinking. We need to be aware of the fact that we exist within a multiplicity of systems. First, natural systems, living systems, and social systems, and technological systems, to name a few. Systems thinking offers powerful tools for dynamics and outcomes of systems. It is a discipline for seeing the whole, not just parts, a method for seeing visible and invisible causes of our world problems. Systems thinking enables leaders to influence the dynamics of these systems, and it can direct their ability to design new social and technological systems to promote justice, well-being, prosperity, and harmony with nature. And fourth competency is systemic sustainability. Most people think of sustainability exclusively as an environmental issue. Systemic sustainability defines sustainability as an macro-complex system made up of three important subsystems. First, environmental sustainability, human sustainability, and institutional sustainability. Each of these subsystems supports the existence of the other two, which makes all three subsystems mutually interdependent. We human beings are now the stewards and caretakers of our systems. This is a big responsibility, and the sooner we understand it and confront this challenge, the better our chances are a species not only to survive but to build a just, sustainable, and flourishing world. Understanding the concept of systemic sustainability and mastering tools and techniques that allow every act of design be assessed based on its implications on environmental, human, and institutional sustainability enables evolutionary leaders to make a lasting impact on a global scale. Ontological designing. Ontological designing is a discipline for consciously designing our life worlds, our institutions, our products, our processes, and ourselves so that they contribute toward the futuring of sustainment of life on this planet according to Fry of 2009. At the foundation of ontological design, there are three basic principles. First, the human world that we live in is a product of human design. We are all designers of our world no matter if we want it or not. Second, the world we live in is designed us. So everything we design eventually comes back and designs us. Most of the time, we are not aware that we are designing, changing, that gives us power to effectively design ourselves and the world around us. Evolutionary leaders develop skills and capacity to identify, leverage, and influence the feedback loop between one's worldview and the cultural, institutional, and physical context, and use this power to design new realities in an ethical, sustainable, and future-focused ways. 6. Competencies: adaptive work and collaboration. An adaptive challenge is a challenge that involves a disparity between values and circumstances, according to Key Fitts of 1994, a challenge in which learning must occur for an effective solution to be found. Adaptive work requires that people confront tough issues such as poverty, confront losses, change of values, make choices while staying open to finding new solutions together instead of trying to find experts who know it all. Therefore, collaboration is the fuel for the engine of adapted work. Evolutionary leaders need to develop skills and capacity to identify and engage stakeholders in a way that facilitates addressing adapted challenges, scenarios, and wisdom. This competency supports leaders in understanding our evolutionary history as living systems and as human beings. It also invites us to develop wisdom in order to make the right choices for our future. Wisdom asks you to consider the importance of those actions and the choices and the long-term consequences of those actions. Evolutionary leaders think in terms of evolutionary time and use their understanding of evolutionary principles to design and direct the process of human evolution. They can think strategically in terms of 10, 25, 50, or 100 years or more to envision that we can design and build a better world. Evolutionary leaders must work within the creative tension of solving immediate, tough, local, and global problems, such as poverty, hunger, climate change, and also working from the future. Not just problem solving, but also being designers of new institutions, new futures. There are stewards of people, organizations, and communities and ecosystems. So it facilitates the emergence of life, affirming future-oriented and opportunity, increasing realities. Evolutionary leaders are competent in systems thinking, feeling, and being focused on co-adapted challenges that require the creations of new knowledge rather than on technical problems that can be solved with existing knowledge.